Man, welcome to the podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's coffee today, no beers.
That's better.
Yeah, man, how's your day?
Good, yours?
Yeah, it's going good, man. So we'll go straight into topics today. We're gonna talk about some the banger, which is like Andrew Tate stuff. He's out of the jail now.
Yeah.
And did you watch that 4.5 hours podcast?
No, I saw the ending that you showed me.
Yeah. So his podcast is with Patrick Bet-David, like 4.5 hours. I'm like halfway through. It's entertaining at the same time. It's like informative. It's everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good, man. So what do you think? Like, is he guilty? Is he? What do you think about it?
Wow, I don't know. I need to see evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I feel he has the right to defend himself.
Yeah.
But where's the evidence? In investigations, they might not want to release too much because it might interfere with the investigation. But I'm not really sure what I think of it. But there's smoke was fired.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's more to the story than we're aware of.
Yeah. Have you seen that BBC clips?
No.
Like, so it's just like it was supposed to be 1 hour long, and then the BBC put in like 35 minutes, and they were getting so much heat from like the people commenting on YouTube and just disliking the videos and stuff. So they got shortened down the video to like 12 minutes, and then they turned off the comments and stuff. They're still getting heat and stuff. So that lady was like, well, Andrew Tate was saying that these guys are begging me for interview for like 6 months, even when he was in jail and stuff. But when he came out, when he agreed to do the interview, the lady was like, "Did you rape anybody?" That was her first question. yeah.
It's like R. Kelly interview.
Like, did you rape anybody? Did you like assaulted anybody? Did you like held anybody?
Like in the jail? That's what she wants to know.
No.
Like outside. Like,
Because of the charges, right? Like she was asking about the charges. Like, did you rape anybody? Because you're charged with these charges. She's like, no, I didn't do anything.
what did the victim say?
Well, there isn't one. They're like two names. They did the investigation and stuff. You know, like all the WhatsApp messages were released. They were planning stuff to portray him in a bad picture just because. So one of the recording was it was actual on YouTube. They were like, "Why did you come out now?" It was like 6-7 years ago. She was like, "Because he's rich now," and that was her answer. One of the ladies.
Oh.
Yeah, and then BBC were like, "There's this new Lucy girl who's like, it was 10 years ago," and she said this guy we were in the middle of having sex, and he choked me for 1 minute, and I was passed out, and then I got up, and I was like, this is not what I signed up for, and this is what she said.
Oh.
Right, and then Andrew was like, "Where's this Lucy? Why hasn't she gone to the police, and why is she going to BBC and telling you guys the story?"
Yeah.
She shouldn't be going to, like, if he's still not charged. So let's say Lucy goes to the police and, he could be charged if that's the evidence that they have. She's obviously saying it. He did it. Right?
Yeah.
But he's like, why is she not going there? But as of now, he's still on house arrest, no charges. And the interviewer, Patrick Bet-David, he went to Andrew's house in Romania.
Oh, did he? That's where he lives in Romania?
To the interview, yeah.
See, I wonder why he's living in Romania.
I think he's been living there for 4 or 5 years now.
Oh, I heard it's beautiful there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There was another guy. I don't know if did you ever watch that 70s show?
Which one?
Like, it's an old show. He's been on TV. The Ashton Kutcher, Danny Masterson.
No.
Anyway, the guy who used to play Hyde, he actually got charged for very similar things, like having super aggressive sex with women.
Okay.
And a bunch of women came out, and I think he got charged too, but I think he might go in prison for a long time.
Okay.
If you ever get a chance, Google it. It's a pretty interesting case.
Is it recent?
Yeah, he was really popular. It happened in the early 2000s though, but people didn't start coming out until the later 2000s, like now, like 2020.
Okay.
And it's kind of like even Bill Cosby. You're having cases from 1980 popping up, and some people I can understand when you're a victim. And you feel like someone's in a powerful position, you don't want to come out because you're scared, what might happen, backlash. Are people going to believe you, or are you going to be the portrayed as the bad person? Are you the whore that had sex with somebody or whatever? I can see where some people might be scared to come out. Man, it can be frightening when you're wealthy.
But how do you prove that? When it was 10, 15 years ago, and it's understandable, there must be some cases where this actually happened, right? Like some boxers or some athletes like who were actually in the role of power and they just overused or like, you know, hit some woman or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, how do you prove that? Like it was 20 years ago. Like could be that the guy just got rich, you know. Could be that one element, and then there could be that he actually did it.
There was a lawyer here in the city. I don't remember her name, but like I've come across some like people where we work, right?
Yeah.
This individual had been molesting his children and grandchildren, I guess, or children. I think it stopped there, but they come out in the recent years as adults.
His own children? Wow.
And that was a lawyer. And
that's messed up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can maybe see where people are, they're like scared or ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough situation. And it's also when it's not true.
Yeah.
It's ruining somebody's life.
Mm-hmm.
Their credibility is gone.
Yeah.
It's hard to recover from that.
Yeah.
Sexual charges and stuff. Like, I don't know, even Mike Tyson, are you familiar with his story?
Yeah. He went to jail for that, right?
Yeah, and at the same time, like, I don't believe that a person in his circumstance, like the guy was a heavyweight champion of the world,
mm-hmm.
some girl from bikini contest is coming up to your hotel room at 2 or 3 in the morning. In my mind, that's kind of like, hey, you're going up to the heavyweight champion of the world, like, you must be interested in this guy to go up to his room in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you turn around and say someone raped you, like that's been a black cloud over him for many years.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine having to deal with that.
I mean, he spent his time in jail, and I think I've heard him saying on one of the podcasts, he was like, it was his best time in jail, like some of the best days in jail.
Apparently it was peaceful, and I think Andrew Tate said, I was listening to a little interview he was doing, like a clip of it.
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, jail was super peaceful, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what he said, yeah. He was like, jail was, he had some of the best days and some of the worst days.
That's what he said, yeah.
Yeah. He was like, something was interesting, which was like, he was like, it was on 29th of December, and he was doing Ramadan, which is like the fasting for a Muslim.
Is he Muslim?
Well, he just converted it. He was born Christian.
Okay.
Yeah, so he said he started doing Ramadan, and on day one, which was like New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And there was like cockroaches around his cell and everything. He was alone and everything. So he got his meal in the morning. He couldn't eat it till like after dark.
Yeah.
So he just put it on like the shelf and waited till night. It was interesting. He was like, he started doing Ramadan and then he's like in the jail and stuff. But that's what he said. I mean, it was interesting.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you just told me you came from rolling.
Yeah.
How was it?
It's great.
Yeah.
My hair's pretty crazy.
You're still sweaty.
Yeah, I'm pretty warm.
Yeah.
That was the first time I've been since my injury in April 5th. I got the okay from the surgeon. They said go back and do some drills and see how you feel in the rounds and stuff. But no too much pressure on my neck still, so I got to take early taps and stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to avoid because I don't know, when I go to a gym, there's like bigger people or stronger guys. I usually like to go like the people that are a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger.
Yeah. You just like to test your limits.
Yeah, exactly. And I had to turn people away today just to keep myself safe for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like doing that. I don't like shining away from people, and it sucks.
No, but sometimes you have to, right? Sometimes you have to take that one step back because you're injured. You know, like when I started doing jiu-jitsu like 6-7 months ago, I used to get injured every day, and I would just like say, I don't want to do it today. I was just afraid. I was like, man, getting choked out and just getting Kimuras and stuff, like hurts. It hurts for days, right?
Yeah.
And then when you go for like the black belts and the brown belts, it's like, obviously it's going to hurt, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's so odd, man. It's hurting your body.
And on that topic, what do you think if like a new person gets into like, he's all excited about this mixed martial arts, boxing, even you know, jiu-jitsu and stuff, what do you think a person should start from?
Like which martial art? Like which art form?
Let's say someone who's like 16, 17, even like 25, let's say, if it's me who just starting up, where should that person start his, mixed martial art or his combat sports career from, which is safe or, you know, where he can learn the most skills or even can use in street fights if that happens, you know?
That's really hard. That's really hard to answer. I think that if I was to, like, for myself, depending on what you're going to use it for, if I had to start, I would probably get like a wrestling base. I would, if I could find a wrestling gym or a martial arts club with wrestling and boxing. And I love jiu-jitsu. I would suggest like everyone learn a little bit of jiu-jitsu too. If you can find a gym that offers all these, like kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, you should try to learn them all if you can. being one trick pony never does much. You should know a bunch of different.
Agreed, man. Yeah, I mean, there are some times when striking has to play the main role, right? You can't just like, have you seen those guys doing jiu-jitsu? They immediately go on their back and just like going for the legs and stuff. Like, I just hate that. Like, obviously it's a sport, but if you go in a street fight and you go on the floor straight away, you're gonna get stomped.
Yeah. There's a guy I really like to follow, and he talks about that in his video. His name's Dean Lister.
Okay.
He was like an older school jiu-jitsu guy. He used to win like ADCs all the time. It's a pretty prestigious tournament. And he brought that topic up because like he had a little questionnaire. Mm-hmm. He says like, yeah, he's like, jiu-jitsu is like, guys always think jiu-jitsu is not useful in a street fight because you get those guys lay onto their backs.
Yeah.
Of course, like someone could kick you in the face, or but still, like it still is a useful tool.
100%. Yeah.
And like the big thing going on right now is the topic of Tyson Fury wanting to fight John Jones and Tyson Fury. I keep seeing like they're having some kind of thing back and forth, and Dana White wants to try to promote that, but I could never see Tyson Fury transitioning to MMA.
How could he? Man, he's like 6'7".
He's just too. He has the time to put in. I'm sure he's a competitive guy. I'm sure he could learn to wrestle. But when you go in and want to start fighting John Jones, he's gonna kick the shit out of you. Yeah. Like boxing is great. Maybe he connects one punch. Mm-hmm. I would say what Joe Rogan said. I'd say like if I'm a betting man, I'll chips on black man. Mm-hmm. Like you're probably 98% chance that you're gonna lose against.
So it'll be hard to take him down though.
Tyson Fury?
Yeah.
Maybe if he learns like utilize that jab really well.
Yeah.
But if John starts like hacking his legs with kicks, because boxers are really heavy on their front leg. Yeah. If he starts leg kicking him, man, he's gonna John Jones would take him down. Mm-hmm. It would be no doubt about it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. So I've heard these days, like guys, because our environment is where we do physical workouts all the time, whether it's gym, whether it's jiu-jitsu, some kind of martial arts. But I know about 90% of my friends, other than work, don't do any physical workouts. They don't even go to the gym. They don't even go for a walk. Wow. Do you think it's necessary to work out?
I do for myself. I started working out when I was like, I don't know, when I was a kid, I suffered from like a lot of people do. Like I used to get depressed a lot. Like I came from a broken home, like a split family. Things happen to people in your life. And the one thing that always like released like good feeling about, I didn't feel really good about myself when I was younger, probably like 12 to 15, and only when I worked out. And that's what really drove me. I started working out probably when I was extremely young, like before you're really supposed to. Like I had a little weight in my basement, and like it was like one of the only things that ever like I felt good about myself. Like I didn't need someone to tell me, but like I started getting lots of compliments from people, like even like older people, like gym teachers, like a lot of female attention. Because you're the first guy working out, so you're built. And then the compliments started rolling and I started feeling good. Yeah. And I think for people, like, it's not just about that, but it's for the release of, like, the hormones into your brain and stuff, all the different types of endorphins and things that are running around through your brain. Yeah. When you train. I don't know if you've ever gone for a run and after.
100%, yeah.
You feel good?
Yeah, you feel good. I feel, if I don't go to gym 2 days in a row, I feel like shit. Yeah, it affects my anxiety, my mental health, everything. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. But that's the thing, right? There's also an aspect of like when you do hard stuff, let's say working out or do a hard job. Yeah. You're gonna get recognized by people, and they'll respect you more just because you're doing something that not everybody does. Yeah. Which is like people respect you for that because nobody can do that, right? Well. Like workout, everybody can do that, but nobody does it.
It's so not easy.
There's some skill level. There's like competency that you need. There's some perseverance that you need to continuously go in and out of the gym every day, 7 days a week, right?
I love it myself. I like the feeling I get. Like I have a home gym. I built a gym in my basement. Like I've been going around buying equipment, taking it apart. But without that, like I've noticed such a difference between like the relationship with me, with my wife. Like we're both a lot happier. Because if you go down, crush a deadly workout, it's like taking drugs. It's like your own body makes these. Yeah. And all you gotta do is do something to make yourself feel good.
100%.
Even if it's like, I don't know, you like to run, box, swim. Yeah. Hike up mountains and you get that good feeling.
I was supposed to go for a run today, go for a hike with my friend, man. It started raining today. Couldn't go. Maybe next days off we'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch last UFC? Vancouver?
No. That was in Vancouver?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why I'm repping a shirt. This is my buddy's.
Kyle Nelson.
He won his fight. I was really happy for him. I know it meant a lot to him.
I've heard about him a lot, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I messaged him and said congratulations. And he's one of those guys like instantly like, thanks, man. Like he remembers the people that cared about him and in the early stage of his career, like buying his gear. And I'm really proud and happy for him. He worked so hard. And his funny story about that guy. Yeah. I remember. I'm happy for people like this. Yeah. When we were kids, I remember like, kids do like promiscuous things. I like smoking weed and eating mushrooms or whatever. And I remember like being at a party and be like, yo, you want some? Mm-hmm. He's like, no, I'm going to fight in the UFC one day. Okay. And I remember some people be like, okay, sure. Yeah. But now like, it's funny. It's like, wow, that guy, he had that goal since the age of probably like, I remember him talking about that in the 9th grade. Mm-hmm. So I would have been like 14. Okay. So he probably had it before that point. It's just crazy to see people accomplishing a goal like that. It's amazing. Yeah, man. Like it's like there's some kind of a high when you see a person or even yourself committing to something and then you actually do it. It's like you feel so good. You feel accomplished, right? And you don't have many like small goals to accomplish, but you can start with like, let's say in the night you're saying I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. and go for a run, and then you actually do it. Your whole day is like happy day. You'll feel so better. Yeah. Do you know David Goggins? Yeah. I read his book, and then he always talks about this like inner bitch. Mm-hmm. Do you know anything about this? Yeah. So like, so I said that today. I'm like, I'm gonna wake up at like 5, and I'm gonna go to the club and get in early and have my whole day, and then come do this. Mm-hmm. I did not get up at 5. I actually forgot to set my alarm. I hate this. That sounds like such a like first excuse. Yeah. But you need an alarm to wake up. But I remember thinking, wow, I'm a bitch. Like, I didn't get up like I said I would. Yeah. I felt like disappointed in myself. Yeah, man. You know what? When I was in the gym, I still do. I push myself, right? And I do like reps, like 20, 30, 40, like less weight, but more reps. Yeah. And I used to quit when I feel the burn. But then I was like, no. So I'll be like, it's the inner bitch, same thing, right? I was like, fuck you. I'm just like talking to myself. I was like, fuck you, I'm not gonna stop. And I'll just like push. And I'm just talking to myself, cursing myself out. I was like, stop it. Like my brain says, stop it, we're done here. I was like, no, we're not done here. Like I like do the hard work and then go to the sauna for 20 minutes, super hot, and it'll burn off your skin. It's like steam sauna, right? Yeah. It's like so hot. Yeah, and it's same concept. It's like, fuck you, and I'm not gonna stop. Like, nobody's gonna tell me to stop. And same thing with Kyle Nelson. He's like, I don't care if you laugh at me. I'm still gonna go to MMA and accomplish my dreams. Well, a lot of people like. I'm a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. If you ever get a chance, like you should read his book, Total Recall. Really good. I read that book. I read Mike Tyson's book. Really good as well. But Arnold Schwarzenegger told people when he was like a young kid in Austria, I'm gonna go to America, become a movie star, bodybuild, and people are like, this guy's nuts. Mm-hmm. Like, haha, sure. We all know where that story went. There's like the guy's a $400 million, like Hollywood star, Mr. Olympia 7 times. Yeah. And like he did everything he said. He said that it all started with manifesting and visualizing yourself. Like he even he was a big fan of Reg Park. So he said what he did, he would lay in bed and he had a picture of the Reg Park, the bodybuilder, on the wall, and he would imagine his face on his body. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's pretty cool. It was his movie, right? And nobody wanted to make his movie, and then he was like, I'm gonna make my own movie. Like the story he wrote for the movie? That's Sylvester Stallone. Oh man. That was Rocky. Yeah, that was Rocky. Yeah. He actually sold his dog. Oh yeah, because he had to sell his dog. He had no money, couldn't feed the dog. So he sold the dog, and after the Rocky movie went out, he went and bought the dog back. Wow. It's a pretty cool story, man. It's a cool story. But like it's the same aspect of the story. It's like nobody's believing in you. He's like going to like these 40 directors, like, this is my story, can you make a movie? They're like, no, you're crazy. Like this movie is never gonna go hit. And then that was like one of the most hit movie at the times, right? Colonel Sanders was the same. Yeah. You know KFC? Yeah. Colonel Sanders, he went with his recipe for chicken to hundreds of people. He was like an entrepreneur. He'd been in China. He had a successful business, lost everything, went broke, started the chicken thing. Yeah. And he said only one person believed in him. Mm-hmm. And then that's history too. I think he became a billionaire when he was 18. All you need is one person, man, because even if that person is yourself, like you're believing in yourself, because nobody can see the vision that you're seeing. So
unless it's your mom, unless it's your family or your wife who's believing in you. Like same thing with Conor McGregor, right? Like they have like people in their life, even if it's one person, that's all you need. Like if they believe in you, like that's all you need. They're like, yes, I can achieve it. Yes, it's possible, right?
Yeah, your inner monologue is super important. That's something I had to work on too.
Yeah.
Like I used to have bad self-talk, and I didn't like even realize. And I read this Navy SEAL book. It's called The Way of the SEAL, and then that's kind of what led to the David. I read David Goggins' book too.
Is that Jocko Willink's book or
no? I heard it. I want to read some of his stuff, but I read David Goggins, and like the inner talk and like make like talk to yourself is super important. And I didn't realize that until as I started reading more.
Yeah,
it really helps, like pushing your own self.
100%.
You got to be your biggest motivator.
Yeah,
and your hardest critic.
Remember last time we talked about having a vision in your head or having some kind of picture in your head that what you want, let's say 5 years from now. Do you still do that? You're like, how old are you, if you don't mind?
I'm 31.
So do you have like a goal at 35, at 40, maybe at 50 that this is what I want in my life and I will achieve it? And are you like taking the steps that are needed?
I always like talk out loud about things I want to do. Like for instance, like I would talk about wanting to save the down payment to buy myself a house. So like I had a plan, so I worked really hard for 5 years, saved the money, bought the house. And then right now, I have a plan. I want to achieve like at one point in my lifetime of receiving my black belt. So right now it's a long-term goal. So my plan is just like try to go 3 or 4 times a week and consistently go to the gym. And if I can get to that black belt level when I retire from my job, the jail, I want to move on to the next stage of my life, maybe move somewhere else, my wife somewhere warm, enjoy our retirement, and teach jiu-jitsu.
That's a good goal, man. Yeah.
Just for something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even care if it's successful or not.
Yeah.
I just want to do that to stay fit and be around people, and I want to give back to people.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I remember how I felt until I did the weightlifting and the jiu-jitsu and stuff. It really helped me like clear my mind.
Yeah. No, definitely, man. And younger kids, like, you know, like we need some good guys, like good teachers who can like explain us stuff, all that stuff. Like I know jiu-jitsu are more popular now because of the mixed martial arts, but you've been doing this for a long time, right? You've been like 6-7 years.
7 years.
7 years, yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So when we're talking about sports, how much gear, like TRT, like how much steroids, how much that plays a role? Like, does MMA have steroids policy? Like, can they do it?
They have USADA.
Yeah.
And there is loopholes to drugs. Like I used to be deep into this. I used to like taking steroids.
Mm-hmm.
I used to use them. It was fun. Like you feel like almighty. Like the expression. Who wants to be Clark Kent when you can be Superman? When you take a cycle of steroids, like in the first couple days, you feel an increased like your ego grows.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel about yourself.
Okay.
Confidence.
How does that feel like?
Feels great.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how to lie about it.
Yeah.
I used to tell guys, like, they'd ask me about it.
Yeah.
And I just straight up tell guys, yeah, I use like 400 mils a week of like test, a little bit of Anadrol, some Anavar. There's no point in lying to people. It's pretty apparent when you see somebody, you're like, wow, this guy's...
Does it affect your sleep, moods, communication with people? Does it affect anything?
The problem was, so I'm 31, so I was using that from when I was 20 till I was 23, and I had some bad side effects at one point because it's hard to get off.
Mm-hmm.
Like any other drug, at some point there becomes like misuse. Mm-hmm. When you're using it for like appearance purposes, then you see like on the internet tons of guys having heart attacks and kidney failure and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not using it safely, large amounts. And then I'm glad that I got away from it because I have friends like not doing well. A couple of guys, they were telling me some horror stories about like everlasting erectile dysfunction.
Okay.
All kinds of things.
Yeah.
Injuries. And I don't really want to die when I'm 50.
Yeah.
Guys are having heart attacks and stuff. It does do bad things too, but if you're being monitored properly and doing things at levels, I'm sure it's fine. Like TRT is pretty well monitored. I know, like, I remember just sitting around a large group of men, probably, like, I heard at least 50% of the guys saying they're on TRT now.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty staggering.
Yeah.
When I was, if the supply shuts down, people can't get their testosterone. I was wondering about that.
Have you heard that story? They were gonna put sanctions on like, it was this one guy. I've never heard anybody else talking, but he was like, they're gonna put sanctions on TRT so that can only be taken by certain people, by certain advice, and like how you can just go and take TRT now, just go to the clinic or something, you can buy it, but or go to the doctor. But now that they're saying, because TRT is so essential for men, like it obviously has bad sides, but if it's monitored, like you said, can have some good benefits. And there's so many internet personalities, they don't even use it to showcase their body, they just use it in their day-to-day life, and they're just functioning perfectly normally. So they're saying they're gonna ban it or somehow sanction it so that not a normal person can buy it.
I think they'll find it anyway.
Yeah, but have you heard like the decline of testosterone? Yeah,
that's why I was going to get to that, and I think it's because like people's test is declining rapidly. It's
what's the reason for that?
But I think you were talking about this last time as well. You remember you were talking about all the metals and stuff that are in our food and all these chemicals, plastic. That shit messes people up.
Well, yeah, one reason I can think of is like we don't have good quality foods. Like all the vitamins, it's like less vitamins, more chemicals, more metals, more pesticides. So you're not even like if you eat like a bowl of fruits or vegetables, it doesn't have the same effect we had like 20-30 years ago, because it's not as pure and as like good quality. So that affects us. And then on the second hand, fast food, man, like so much easier. You can just go to the drive-thru, get some food, get some coffee, good to go. Right? People work long hour shifts now because you can't even make the needs met in like one paycheck, right? You gotta work overtime. You gotta make some extra money. People do 2-3 jobs just to support. And just to have bills paid. So when they do that, they're just gonna not cook at home or not buy good quality food. They just what's easy, just drive-thrus.
Yes, and nutrition is like one of the main factors having a good physique and staying healthy.
Yeah, and water is 70%. Right? Sorry to cut you off, but water is 70% is our body, right? And fluorides and chemicals and even estrogens in water, because all the chemicals we take, I think only 30 or 40% get processed through our body, and everything else goes out in water. Yeah,
it's frightening. Like I understand the fact that we need clean water. It has to be sterilized somehow, right? And remember, you were saying that with all like the hormones, like if all these young women are taking birth control supplements and then urinating and then they're recycling the water. I don't know how they burn that out. I think you explained that.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand it fully enough to have a grasp of it. But I'm sure that at some point or another, we're all being affected.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's more chemicals in the society today. Everything has chemicals. There's some products that are legal in Canada and States that are not legal in the rest of the country, the rest of the world, because they have some like food chemicals, like the color changing chemicals, which are like totally dangerous for you, and they're still legal. They're approved by FDA, which means it's okay for Canada too.
Did you hear about the baby powder one?
No, what is it?
I don't know if it's Johnson's and Johnson's. I don't want to.
Yeah.
There was like baby powders that they used to use that cause cancer.
Wow.
And like I think everyone was using baby powder from 1900
Who doesn't use it? Yeah.
Pretty sure baby powder is used on me, and I don't even know if I use it on my daughter. I don't really think so. But
you can't really trust any. I would say 90% of the things that we consume every day should be tested, and like if you like test everything, you'll find out all of those things has some kind of a negative effect on your body. And like in 30-40 years ago, you don't really have to think about this, and people sitting at home, they'll be like, that's too much, like we can't just like, we're being paranoid. Like yeah, it's okay to be paranoid. Sometimes it saves your life, like
I try to yell.
Yeah 100%.
I got ripped to McDonald's yesterday.
I mean, you can do it once in a while, 100%. Like you're not gonna die instantly, but it's like depends what's your goal. If you don't have a goal of retiring healthy when you're 70, 80, you can eat McDonald's every day, like, but also if you want to live like a happy life, if you want to eat McDonald's once in a week, it's fine. Right? I mean, people do that all the time.
Cheat meal.
Yeah, exactly. Cheat meals. Rock does that all the time. Have you seen his cheat meals on Instagram?
I saw that. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I can't eat that. That's like 10 people food.
That's like 10,000 calories of stuff he eats. He's insane.
He is
also huge. The Rock and his big cheat meals, but I was getting to the subject of like the natty or not. And I don't know if you believe that guy's natural.
I'm not sure, man.
Mistaken.
He's been maintaining his physique for a long time.
Yeah,
I can't really say much.
No, I that guy's on some juice.
Yeah, but
I don't care though. That's
100%. Yeah.
Maybe he feels it portrays a negative image on him. I've always been a person like the truth shall set you free, man. Mm-hmm. I felt a lot better like telling people myself, like, hey, you want some juice? Like, yeah, man. I'm like, oh, say whatever the hell you have to say bad behind their back.
Yeah. Because
most of the time when people are jealous of someone, how someone looks, that's the first thing they'll throw at you.
Yeah.
Like when I was in high school, the one buddy I had, like I didn't do steroids in high school, man. I didn't touch that shit until I was 20. Mm-hmm. And the one guy's like, right on my picture, like, write steroids. Like trying to like break down like what I had done for myself.
Yeah.
Just to like throw some shade on me because like they were out of shape, had a fat gut or whatever, and want to make other people feel shit.
And you were doing workouts at the time?
Dude, I started working out when I was in like the 8th grade, 7th grade.
Wow. So see, that's the thing, right? When like there's two kinds of people. There's like one who like pushes you, like person who's like yes, you can do it. That's like maybe 1% of your circle, right? There's only 1 or 2 people that who are like, yeah, man, you can do it. And then there's like few people who are like, if you did a good thing, like must be something wrong with it because they can't do it, right? So that guy couldn't achieve the same body. He couldn't get the same attention because you were getting it because you were working hard in the gym, right?
Some people don't like the other people getting good attention. Like they want it themselves. Mm-hmm. Understandable, but it's not. I didn't do anything like that for other people. Do it for yourself. Right?
Yeah, there was this quote I've heard. It was pretty interesting. He was like, "The way you interact with people reflects how you are." Like if you closely look at people, how they interact with everybody, it portrays a similar, like some kind of a picture on their characters, like how they actually are. Mm-hmm. So if someone's like putting shit on you, he's like, you're a bad person. There must be some intrinsically wrong with them, or they might think they're not good enough. That's why they want you to bring down, because it could be the same level, but they don't think about like, oh, I can, if he's doing it, I can do it. They can't think on the other side. They just want you to bring it down.
Yeah, I actually experienced that. I had been in a family member, and they were very like, the person was like very negative towards like a lot of stuff. Constantly like putting people down, like saying like, oh, like you're stupid, or you're gonna be a ditch digger for the rest of your life. You don't got much brains, or you're this and that, or you're a fag, or constant like negativity. Mm-hmm. And then I realized like, oh, this person wasn't very happy. And it was like an awakening, just experiencing that, because like, wow, that person wasn't happy. Now I can understand maybe why they were like that. It's eye-opening.
Yeah. I think people don't really think about their circles, but do you think like if someone's bringing you down, or someone who's like, even if it's your family member, someone's always negative and like talk bad stuff to you, like not to you, but like with you, like let's say complaining about stuff or talking about other people in a negative way, do you think you should like keep distance from those people, or how do you do it? Like people don't really think about it, but like our circle matters a lot.
It's hard. Yeah. You want to love people from afar. Mm. If you feel like someone's affecting your life negatively, you're gonna like still love somebody. Like you can love your mom or your dad, but if you grew up with someone, maybe they're like a raging alcoholic or a drug user, and they mistreated you, be careful who you let in your life, because like if they don't love themselves, they might not be able to love other people the way they keep them out of your circle. They're still in it, but like let them be over there, and you can see them, see each other. Hey, love you. Hey, how you doing?
Do you confront them, or do you just slowly just stay back and then not hang out that much with them, and then slowly, just keep distance and not confronting? It's like, man, I don't want you in my life. So what should be the approach?
Personally, for me, like I did some sessions of therapy, and so it's for some people, it's important to confront people. Mm-hmm. So I got to confront a family member who had been doing some like unmentionable things I don't really want to talk about. But I got to confront this individual, and part of me had to do that because my inner child couldn't. But now I'm a man. I've been a student of martial arts. I'm very calm. I know under a situation, if someone wants to get physical or get aggressive, go ahead. But I feel more confident in my manhood confronting people and letting them know, hey, you did this to me, and it made me feel this way. And I just want you to know that I don't need an apology from you. This is just how you affected me in my life, and I think you need to know that you're responsible for some of these things that I'm experiencing now. And a lot of times people will apologize, and then there's the people that they'll just pretend that it never happened. That never, no. They deny. Mm. And even if someone denies, there's still the truth between, like, you might not see something how I observed it. For instance, like you wronged me, and I remember you doing that. Mm-hmm. But maybe you didn't see it that way at the time, or you just didn't perceive what I saw.
Yeah.
But you should still let them know, like, hey, I didn't like that. Hopefully they apologize or they take responsibility. Because I'm not perfect. If someone says, hey, you made me feel like shit in public school. Like, there's this guy that used to get teased in my class, like, maliciously by kids. One time on night shift, I, like, thought about this person and I took the time and wrote them, like, a message. Hey, I apologize for, like, any mistreatment you may have experienced from me and blah, blah, blah. And caught up with the guy and it was a really nice conversation. He's like, by the way, he's like, you never made me feel that way. He's like, you were never one of the bad ones. I said, just so you know, I do feel bad and guilty. I shouldn't have stood by and idly let that happen to you. But I was also a kid and there's social aspects to things and that's basically being a pussy man.
Yeah, you just want to be likable, right?
You want people to like you and you're worried, like, if you stand up for some loser, that you're going to lose your group of friends.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, that's what kids care about a lot, right? When you're in a new school or new environment or, you know, in a school zone, you're like, as a kid, you just want everybody to like you, right? You don't want to make friends. You don't want to make enemies, or you don't want kids to hate you, because that's uncomfortable situations. And kids at that point never experienced uncomfortable situations. And when they grow up, like bullying and, like, you know, people talking bad about them and stuff like that, that's when they grow up from being kids to try to be their own man, because they can handle those situations through various, you know, maybe coping mechanism, or maybe they learn new stuff and that's how they improve. Yeah.
I agree. As for me, it's important. That's how you step past, like, you need to move on for you. And it's not about other people. It's how you felt, and you need to move on and get past that. Or some people get stuck on stuff forever, man.
Yeah.
Some people never grow up. Like, if you're gonna bitch and complain about mom and dad not giving you that bike when you were 8, yeah, maybe it hurt because you felt that maybe mom and dad had no money.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about the same thing. Sometimes, like you're saying, when people do something wrong to you, sometimes they don't even see it that way because they didn't really understand the situation you were in. But the thing with parents is, like, parents do their best to, you know, help their kids. Most of them, I should say, but, like, kids sometimes feel like, oh, my parents or my dad, he didn't do this thing right. You're just expecting it, like, the way you should wanted it to be, but, like, you don't know the situations they were in when they were, you know, raising you. And sometimes kids, or, like, people have, like, even adults, they have this grudge against their parents. They don't like their parents because they did one small thing 15 years ago, and they just keep holding it to that, and then they just, like, they don't have good relationships with their parents then.
Yeah, that's a little selfish too.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know. I realized that I was given the best of what my parents could give.
Yeah.
They, not everyone's perfect, and not every childhood's perfect, but having a roof over your head and food, and to appreciate that stuff, is a lot of people don't even have that. Like, it's a tough world.
Yeah.
It's not fair to everybody, and life's not always fair. And when you get to an age, like, if you're still blaming other people, if you're like, oh, I don't have a car or a house or this or that because my dad and my mom, it's like, dude, you're fucking 35 years old. Get off your ass and change shit. It's...
Yeah. 100%.
Come on.
Why do you think people don't change? Why do you think, like, people just blame others and not themselves? Like, they have 99 people to blame except themselves.
That's the hardest person to blame. Like, I had to do that myself, actually. I realized one day through, like, my studying that at the end of the day, I'm responsible for my own life, my own actions. If I want something, I'm responsible to do that. If I want to change, I'm responsible for that change. Even if I'm your mom or your dad or your best friend, at the end of the day, I still have my life to take care of too. I want to see well for you and you to do good, but I still, at the end of the day, I'm not going to change you. I can't come here and make you change.
Yeah.
I can influence that. And then the other 90% is up to you, or I'd say 98% is up to you to do that change and make that happen. You can get help from people.
Yeah. I
hear a lot of people saying I'm self-made. Most people I know who say that you're not self-made. You had other people helping you along the way. So, like,
yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, nobody's self-made. I mean, people go through relationships. People go through, like, different kind of situations, and every small interactions that they go through has a part in, like, building you up, right? Like, even if it's like your parents, your teachers, your friends, like, all of them has a part to play for you to build it up, right? Yeah, and that same thing, man. One thing I've learned is, like, not in a negative way, but I'm like, if something goes wrong, I'm the first person to blame myself. Even if it's like the worst thing happened to me, even if it's like a good thing, I'll be like the first person to blame myself. I was like, I need to fix something. Like it's like a responsibility aspect of it. Like you can't just sit and, oh, weather's not good, it's raining. It's like blaming God or blaming the environment in general. Like you can still do something at home. You can go to the gym, do something indoors, right? You know, there's like I should say almost everything has an alternative. Like if you don't like this part, you can change something so that you can have the likable results or likable outputs. But the thing is, people don't like to change. People don't like to change their environments, their thinking, and their friend circle or whatever that is. It's the change is something that people are not comfortable with because it makes you uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, it is hard.
Yeah, like it's hard to change jobs. Like you're the rookie in a new job. Nobody likes that when you're 35 or something, right? I'm 25 right now. If I go to a new job tomorrow, I won't like the job because people are like, this guy doesn't know a job because I don't know the job because I'm a new guy. So everybody will be, like how at our work, like new guy comes in, we do like small stuff to like irritate that person or tell him false information and stuff like that.
Joke around.
Yeah, we joke around with them and it's like funny. But if it was me, because it happened to me too, because it happens to everybody, like you get a healthy bullying because the environment we work in, it's just like healthy bullying, and then you learn from that. It's like just a laugh after that. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on your personality too. Like I always I'm not like I never really like messing with people or bullying people.
Mm-hmm.
But it is funny to see sometimes some guys. It happened to me a little bit. I got told to do like things that didn't go well for me career wise at my beginning.
Okay.
And in looking back, like I shouldn't have done that. But still, people were messing with me, and it was funny at the time to them. It's everyone goes through their stages of not knowing stuff, and you get comfortable as you are there longer. Someone's helpful to you, and there's always that one person who's like a big mentor to you, and it means a lot to you, right?
Yeah, 100%. There's always one person like you look up to, like as an idol, even if it's a job or just life in general, and you just look up to them, and you're like you want to be that person at one point in your life or in your job, and then once you go through job for like a couple of years, you come closer to being that person, and then just life just improves, because you're working on that thing. Even if you made some mistakes in the process, but you recover from those mistakes as long as you know where you're going.
Yeah. If you don't know where you're going, that ship's not going to sail anywhere.
Yeah.
You need a destination.
100%.
So I like we were talking about earlier about those 5-year plans.
Yeah.
So like even you should like some people. The first thing I do for like planning, this is from a book that I was reading called The 7 Habits.
Okay.
It's like intermittent, like daily planning leads to weekly planning, monthly planning, yearly, 10 years, 5 years, like so forth and so forth. It all starts with how you organize your day from the start. Like you have a calendar, do you know what you're doing? Are you on organized? If you can get yourself set up and start planning, it's easier to break things down and get to goals.
Yeah, like it's like the future, like whatever we do now is the actions of future. So if you want your future to look brighter or better, you should better start working today on all those things. Let's say if you want a good body in 10 years, you're not gonna wait 10 years and be like, oh, I never got it, because you never worked on it. Like all the small steps, all the small habits you have today are gonna define your future. And if it's like, for example, you have a goal 5 years from now to be the highest position in your job, and you're not doing anything, you're not even improving one bit in your job, like you're not improving your relationships with people, you're never gonna get there because you never put the work in. And it's like you have to delay the outcome of it, because you're not gonna get all the things you want right now. But if you understand that, and there was this interesting thought that I heard on some online, I think it was YouTube, where like we are basically the future in action, right? We're just acting on that thing. Like this guy was like, I'm already there, I'm already rich, I already have all those things. Right now I'm just like building my habits so that, because I already know that I am that person, but I just need to act on it now. Because let's say for you, Jiu-jitsu, right? You want black belt. You already know you're gonna be a black belt. All you have to do is go in and do 3, 4, 5 days a week. That's all you have to do, right? And you already know that you can get there, because if you know these are the right inputs in your life, obviously the output's gonna be what you want because you know what the inputs needed to be and you put that work in. So easy. But the thing is, life doesn't go by years, doesn't go by days. We just think about today, just right now. And right now, what's more soothing, what's more pleasurable? Scrolling down on phone and like sitting, sleeping, smoking weed. That seems more easy to do, and people just don't like to get out of their comfort zone, I think.
And then those habits you're talking about, people are getting into a routine and a habit, and it can be hard to break a bad habit. A good habit might be working out every day, and then again, it could be a bad habit too, because like some guys work out 3 times a day, never take a day off.
Yeah. Well, David Goggins. Have you heard David Goggins? He's
a little nuts.
He's nuts. He's crazy.
He's pretty cool.
Not anybody.
Cool.
Yeah, I heard him saying, he's like, people talk about recovery. Even Khabib, he was talking about the same thing. He's like, what recovery? I just work out, sleep. That's all I do. That's my recovery. Sleeping is my recovery. And if people don't take alcohol, like let's say for example for working out, if you're combining that with bad food and drinking and like smoking and stuff, your recovery is gonna prolong. You won't be recovered easily because you're just messing up with the body. And if you're taking good sleep and good food, you'll recover.
Recovering, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That's bad for you.
Yeah. What do you think about intermittent fasting?
I used to do it for a long time, and like I usually stick to it. I usually don't eat till like 11.
Okay.
Sometimes 12. I don't know. I just don't eat breakfast.
Yeah.
I used to like it a lot. Like sometimes I get hungry and I always eat, but I usually try it. But it has some good results. I've been told and I've seen for myself. It keeps me at a good weight for competition. If I'm trying to stay on a weight, it really helps me not like fluctuate in weight.
Yeah.
I stay balanced.
Yeah, I do once in a while, not every day, but like once a week, maybe a couple of times a week. One day I didn't have, so I was drinking coffee 5-6 days straight, and then on the 7th day, all I had was water till it's 5 p.m. Like just water, no coffee, no nothing, no calories at all. And something happened, which was like, I was so calm, like my thoughts weren't as impulsive. I wasn't doing, I wasn't fidgeting and stuff. I was just like calm, and I was just doing my job. And for the first maybe 3-4 hours, I felt hungry and just like low energy. But like after like 10 hours, I feel normal. Like
your body is used to like eating at certain times and overeating.
Yeah.
Our society, we overeat.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we talked about this at one point or another, but the fasting comes in because sometimes when we were more primal, hunter-gatherer, we wouldn't eat, humans wouldn't eat for up to sometimes 4 days, a week, 2 weeks, whenever they got their food to catch it, unless they picked it off the ground and ate it.
Yeah.
So your body can do it.
Yeah.
And you can see through the Muslim faith. The more I learned about like the Muslim faith of Islam or whatever I think it's called, I got really interested in like how those people do that. Like they fast for the month.
Yeah.
And some guys still compete in like high performance sports. It's actually wild.
They stick to their plans, man. Like if it's Ramadan and like if you're a true Muslim, even if it's athlete, like they'll stick to it. Even if it's a fight, they'll go through it. Like they're so strict about their diets and their religion and everything. Yeah. But one thing I noticed was, man, when I like ate at 5 p.m., I was so happy. It was just like I got food. It's just like I wasn't like laughing, but I was just like internally happy. I was like, man, I'm gonna eat now. It just made me happy. It's like dopamine effect, right? If you get up in the morning and scroll through phone, like you're already getting your dopamine targets completed first thing in the morning. So you don't have anything else to look forward to because your dopamine levels are peaked up first thing in the morning.
Yeah, the one guy, this CoffeeZilla guy I listened to on Joe Rogan's thing on the way here, was just talking about that. Talking about like how his job's related to social media, and he finds himself scrolling like so much, it's addicting, and that it's actually caused people. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but do you find like if maybe I was always like this as a kid, but some people maybe not. If you really like reading, do you find your attention span's gotten like shorter?
Oh, 100%. Like let's say you're watching TikTok for 2 hours. Then I'm a victim of this thing. Like I've noticed this a lot. Like if you're trying to read a book, every minute, not even a minute, every 30 seconds, you're like your mind is irritated. You just want to jump onto a different thing. Like every 30 seconds, you want to check your phone and stuff. It's bad.
Yeah.
I've talked to some guys at work. Like they're pissing and phones in their hand. Like they're taking shit, the phones in their hand. They're like putting on clothes on, like or doing whatever. Like they have phone in their hand. And this guy told me he was walking up the stairs and phone was in his hand, just like scrolling. He just tripped and fell down. He was like, and he got so mad at himself. He was like, "Fuck this, man!" He's so addicted to like using phone, even like for like the day-to-day task. You're cooking, you're using your phone. You're doing anything, you're using your phone all the time.
I don't know. I have good friends, and like I try if like I'm here with you, and we're doing this. Like my phone's right here. But if we're having like a conversation, I try to make my attention for you for that time. I think it just shows respect. And I'm here to talk with you. And if those people on your phone are so important, I can understand like for a family emergency or whatever, like you like maybe kid got hurt, and you're like, oh no. But I find like everyone I talk to, anywhere, you'll be talking to someone, they're literally like not even paying attention to you. I don't expect that I'm so important that people are gonna drop their phone every time I come around. Like, oh, it's Stonebreaker. I better put my fucking phone down. Yeah. Give the courtesy of at least like looking my way, maybe like put your phone to the side for a second, hear what I have to say. Maybe it's more important.
100%, man. I hate that stuff. And like, even if you go on dates and like girls are using phone, if I'm like talking, I'll just stop talking. I'll be like, I'm not gonna talk.
I'm guilty as charged sometimes too. Like I do it. Yeah. And I find a lot of girls, I find actually, there's some guys that do that, but I find like the girls are a little, like with the phones, are a little more into it.
More addictive, yeah.
Yeah, I find, like, I don't know. If that's, I like to see a study on that because I don't want to be dropping like true, not true maybe.
Yeah, no, just life experience, right? That's true, for me at least. Just my guys, man, like my friends, if I'm talking to them, like my friends outside of the work, like I'm talking to him and he's using his phone, I was like, man, I'm done talking. I'm not even gonna talk, man. Like, what's the point? Like, you have something more important on your phone, okay, then I'll stop talking.
I have a cousin back in, like, I'm from like a small town. Pretty kind of like, if like people seen it, well, these people are like hillbillies. I love it there though. I don't find that offensive, redneck, hillbilly, whatever. I love that lifestyle. Yeah. I love people, the kind people there. But my cousin, he had a buddy come over he hadn't seen for years. So he grabbed the guy's phone because the guy stopped listening to him and he threw it in the bush. He's like, yeah, you came here to talk to me or did you come play on your phone? He's like, I don't like that. You can go home, man. Yeah, yeah. And he threw buddy's phone in the bush. Yeah. That was pretty funny. Pissed someone threw my phone in the bush, but I'd give the person a courtesy. If you go to see them, you haven't seen them for years, I'd at least listen to what they're saying. People just try to make a habit of that. Yeah. Like when I'm sitting with my wife, sometimes I have my phone down and I don't even, like, I've really made a point of doing this to make her feel important. Mm-hmm. So I'll even put my phone on the counter. My daughter plays with it. Like, little kids love phones. Yeah. I try to give her the courtesy of just staying off my phone for minutes or an hour. Yeah. Makes her feel like I feel like I'm giving my attention, actually understanding what she's saying. I can't sit here and scroll on a phone and have a conversation with you. Some people can, by all means, do it. You know, when you've talked to someone before, and you're
it's
like,
not respectable, man. So we're gonna come to an end here. What would be one piece of advice to anybody who's going through like recovery phases for his or her martial arts, or how to recover? What's one piece of advice for that?
A good like vitamin routine. Okay. Eat well, get your rest, obviously. Everyone's all into the ice bath thing now. If you don't have any of that stuff, I've always done this. I've been doing this for years, but I shower at my gym. Mm-hmm. I turn that thing on as cold as it goes. And I don't do hot or anything. I leave it on cold. Yeah. And I go in and it makes my body feel good. Like I could go sit in an ice bath, but that's what I would do. Yeah. Recover with your vitamins like glutamine and stuff. If you really have any like questions, like a good idea, go online, do some research, or buy a book, read it. Yeah. But for yourself, what do you think? What do you recommend people do?
I've been doing not ice bath, but cold shower for about a year now. Mm-hmm. I've seen effects. Sometimes early in the morning, I'll get up. Like when I get up for work early in the morning at 5 a.m., I'll get up, just throw my blanket away, jump into the cold shower, and I'll just like be awake. Like it'll be like I had 2 espresso shots. Then I don't feel lazy. I don't feel sloppy and stuff. Right. That's one thing I've done. And then the second thing I'm big on is stretching, especially with jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. Like when I started doing jiu-jitsu, my neck, my back, my arms were all in pain. So I just like started doing stretching, and the pain slowly went away. And even if I do jiu-jitsu regularly, I wouldn't be sore all the time.
That's smart. I think it's good input. The stretching, super important.
100%, man.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah.
We out.
Yeah. Thank you.